Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sukhdev Singh, and today we are getting into something every library professional needs to think through carefully, building the AI-powered library from foundation to frontline. This isn't a tech demo. It's a strategic playbook for integrating generative AI into how we actually run libraries. Take a look at that image, a classical academic library rendered in blueprint lines, with a glowing AI layer right at the entrance. That contrast is the whole point. The structure underneath hasn't changed. What's changed is how people walk through the door. We are going to move through 4 focus areas today: infrastructure, adoption frameworks, cataloging, and AI literacy. Each one builds on the last, so stay with me even if a section feels outside your usual lane. By the end, you'll see exactly how they connect into one strategy for your institution. Let's start where every good strategy should, at the foundation. Here's a metaphor worth holding onto for this section. Look at this house, notice it's split into 2 parts. The solid blueprint structure at the base is your institutional repositories and verified outputs. Grafted onto the front is this glowing, futuristic door. That's the AI layer, your conversational search and retrieval system. That door only works if the house behind it is sound. Every conversation about AI-powered retrieval, every question a user asks expecting an answer drawn from verified scholarly output, depends entirely on a modern, properly running repository underneath. If that repository is outdated or poorly indexed, the AI layer doesn't fix the problem. It just exposes it faster. That's exactly why institutions getting ready for the AI era aren't starting with chatbots. They're modernizing their base infrastructure today. No amount of conversational polish saves a crumbling foundation. So let's talk about why that foundation work has gotten less painful lately. Let's get honest about what repository deployment used to look like. On one side, the old reality: installing a repository belonged entirely to the IT department, and one misconfigured line meant days of lost work and baffling error messages. On the other side, the new reality: a confusing build failure or missing dependency can now be diagnosed in real time by an AI assistant that doesn't get tired and doesn't judge you for asking the same question 3 times. Look at the DSpace-10 milestone. The DSpace-CRIS merger has begun, 6 Indian languages are now natively supported, and Cornell University Library is already live on it. A complete DSpace-10 installation was successfully executed on a standard laptop by a library professional using AI for real-time error resolution. The technical barrier to entry has dropped dramatically. But infrastructure alone doesn't win your users over, trust does. Let's look at why that matters next. This is the library AI adoption pyramid, borrowing from 2 well-established frameworks: Kano's model of customer needs and the technology acceptance model. At the base sit the Kano, must-be, needs combined with TAM's idea of trust, security, data privacy, ethical AI use, and information quality. These aren't bonus features. If they're missing, users won't forgive you, no matter how clever the AI on top looks. The middle tier is your one-dimensional needs paired with perceived usefulness, better search, discovery, and research support. Users expect this, and more of it directly increases satisfaction. At the very top sit the attractive needs: personalized recommendations, AI-generated summaries, intelligent assistance. This pyramid is based on an analysis of 43 knowledge service needs, and the conclusion is blunt: if your foundation is weak, no amount of dazzling AI at the top will earn user confidence. So how do we protect that trust institutionally? That's next. This slide is essentially a balance sheet for responsible AI policy. On the left, the accelerators: permitted uses that genuinely speed up scholarly work, literature discovery and screening, data cleaning and analysis support, language editing and translation, and coding assistance. On the right, the guardrails, rules that simply cannot bend. AI cannot be listed as an author, full disclosure of AI use is mandatory, fabrication of data, citations, or peer reviews is strictly prohibited, and sensitive or unpublished data should never touch a public AI platform. And sitting in the middle, holding both sides together, is the principle of human intellectual primacy. Research ideas, critical thinking, interpretation, and accountability remain exclusively human responsibilities. That middle column is really the whole point of this slide. Now let's bring this down to something concrete, how these principles play out in day-to-day cataloging work. If you've been wondering which AI cataloging tool fits your situation, this table should help. OCLC World Share and Connection AI suggest DDC, LCC, and LCSH headings by integrating with WorldCat data, perfect for saving time on your daily cataloging load. Mark AI takes a different approach, using computer vision and OCR to generate Mark 21 or Unimark records from PDFs or book covers, making it strong for retro cataloging projects. Then there are custom GPTs, .mark, Click and Catalog, Koha's Auto Cataloger, which work from mobile captured images of title and verso pages to generate .mrc or .mrk files and assign cutter numbers and subjects, ideal for rapid batch processing of 5 to 10 books. For in-house, specialized projects, Microsoft Power Apps combined with AI gives custom metadata extraction built around your own workflow. The right tool depends on your input method and scale. Let's zoom out now and see how this fits into a bigger loop. This is the human AI cataloging loop, the clearest way to picture how this partnership actually functions. On the AI side, speed and routine, the system generates mark drafts, performs OCR and metadata extraction, and suggests DDC or LCSH classifications using tools like Unif, Alma and Primo enhancements, or models like Gemini and Claude. On the human side, expertise and context, the librarian verifies accuracy and catches hallucinations, applies local cataloging practices no general-purpose model would know, and ensures ethical compliance and nuance throughout. Notice the loop never closes on just one side. AI generates the base draft, a human refines it, and that judgment feeds back into how the next batch gets handled. The message in the center says it plainly: AI works alongside librarians, not in place of them. So if automation handles the base, what does it take for a professional to actually start trusting it? Let's talk about that first step. This is the initiation activation curve, and it's the most human slide in this deck. Look at the barrier of initiation on the left, that steep climb driven by the assumption that AI is only for specialists or large institutions. The real example behind this, 11 years running a siloed, one-person engineering college library, with a collection development policy postponed for 3 years because the task felt too big to start. The peak of that curve is just one moment, typing the first prompt into an AI assistant. That's it. After that, friction drops and flattens into what this slide calls human expertise unlocked. Here, 2 hours of questioning the AI, rewriting sections, and adding local institutional context. Here's the quote that sums it up: "I did not know I had that much to say about my own library. The AI just gave me somewhere to begin." That's not a tech story, that's a confidence story. Let's compare 2 versions of the same profession. The traditional information gatekeeper focused on finding trustworthy information and evaluating sources, with a skill set built around digital literacy and database navigation. That served us well for decades. But the modern AI literacy guide has a different focus entirely, identifying hallucinated citations, evaluating AI-generated content, and teaching responsible, ethical use. The skill set shifts to AI literacy and critical algorithmic evaluation. And this isn't a hypothetical career path. Universities are actively creating dedicated roles around exactly this: AI librarian, critical AI librarian, AI specialist. Dartmouth College, Johns Hopkins University, Rollins College, and the University of Wisconsin-Stout have all moved on this already. If digital literacy was the defining skill of the last 2 decades in our profession, AI literacy is shaping up to be the defining skill of this one. So, where does all of this leave the librarian's identity itself? Let's close on that. So here's where everything we've covered today lands. The shift isn't from the AI librarian to some replacement role, it's an evolution into the modern librarian. The infrastructure, technical barriers are dissolving, and an optimized repository is now accessible to anyone willing to try. The framework: success depends on governance, trust, and human intellectual primacy, not just software. And the professional: just as digital literacy became standard a generation ago, AI literacy is the new baseline. The goal was never to turn librarians into programmers, it's to apply the institutional knowledge you already have, faster and with less friction. That's the whole argument of this lecture. AI doesn't replace what you know, it reveals how much you know. Thanks for watching. If this gave you a clearer picture of where to start, drop your questions below and join the AI4Lib community.